Hey friends! First of all, I apologize for not making a video last week. I was working on my days off so that I could take the weekend off and still have the same amount of work hours. Because I went to a wedding, my best friend got married, and so I was going to be a groomsman in the wedding, and then we hung out with Taylor, and we went in this hot tub, and it was a fun little getaway for the weekend. So that's why I didn't make a video. But today should make up for it, because it is Harry Potter's birthday. Yas! I'm wearing my puff shirt. Pretty sure I wore this shirt for my last Harry Potter video, and I have other Harry Potter stuff. So I just need a variety, but it's fine. It's also J.K. Rowling's birthday. It's funny that she made her main character have the same birthday as her. What we're doing today is making Harry's first birthday cake out of the Potter Cookbook. You've seen this before. We made Hagrid's Rock Cakes. It's the Unofficial Cookbook, but this is the recipe we're using. Use chip clips to keep it open because it's genius. And we're making a few adaptations because we've talked about the chocolate and coffee combination before in other videos. This calls for that again. We're not doing it mostly because I don't want Poppy to get hyped. I was gonna half the recipe because I don't want to eat a 2-tier cake for the next week. So maybe I'll give it to someone. But it was easier just to keep the recipe the same. So we're making chocolate cake, and I'm gonna do the pink frosting and everything. I'm also trying different angles with the camera, just so that you can see what's going on, so you're in the know. So you cream your butter and your sugars together, and you have your hot water and cocoa powder mixture already. I have a chocolate cake recipe that I already like and I know is good, but then I wouldn't be following the recipe in the cookbook, which I feel like is more festive. So we're gonna try this one out. Plus, you know, Hagrid makes it for Harry, so it's probably fine. Ah! It's gonna be great. But it's got a chocolate glaze on it, which we might not do because I don't have corn syrup, and corn syrup is bad for you. I might use agave instead. See if that works, because they're the same consistency. I just might not do a chocolate glaze, or I might find something else. But, so we've got our butter and sugars, and then you add your eggs. It says one at a time, but you all know how I feel about following directions while I'm baking. Alright, and now we can add our chocolate. And you want to make sure that your chocolate mixture is pretty smooth, because nobody wants clumps of cocoa powder in there, especially because it's unsweetened cocoa powder. We're not about that. But you also don't buy sweetened cocoa powder. You always buy unsweetened because you add sugar and other stuff to your recipes every time. So don't do that. And the recipe also calls for dark brown sugar, but that's because Britons don't like sugar sometimes. And it's gonna make it a deeper flavor, but I used light brown sugar because that's what I had, and it's tasty, so it's gonna be fine. Oh, I should have kept my spoon out. I'm gonna do a little wipey wipe. And then once all your chocolate's combined in there, then you can add the dry ingredients. Start on a low speed so you don't get spattered with hot chocolate. Alright, and it's going to be really soupy, obvi, because you don't have your dry ingredients in there yet. Okay, beep, beep. Cool. So we're going to move our towel so we can set that right there. Cleaned out the fridge today, that was exciting. Okay. La la la. 1 cup of flour. Oh, that's it? Ooh, this is gonna be a wet cake. We'll see how it goes. Don't add more if necessary, because it's not necessary. Always follow the recipe with that. Because sometimes it turns out weird. What? where is it? 1 teaspoon of baking powder. That's the thing, is that sometimes I'm like, oh, well, it's really wet. Let me add some more dry ingredients. And then it either raises weird because your baking soda or baking powder concoction is off, or sometimes it's sticky or gummy, or sometimes it's just weird. And so just, it might look wet, but it should be okay. Because I've made really wet cupcakes before, and they turned out really good. So hopefully this turns out. If not, we can blame the recipe. What was I getting? Oh, the vanilla. Poppy and I are gonna go swimming tonight. Well, Christian's going to. We're all gonna go have a little family swimming time this evening. That'll be fun. And I know I always have my hair up in my mom clip, is what Christian calls it, but I washed it today, so it's really fluffy. So it's in my clippy. Here we go. Start on low speed again. It's not as wet as I thought it was gonna be, but it's still pretty wet. You guys, just come talk to me about Harry Potter, because, ooh, that's dark. I want to add more sugar. But we're gonna stick to the recipe. Maybe we'll make the frosting extra sweet or something, because it's dark bark for sure. Okay. Scrape off as much of this as we can. And then you just bake it at 350. I didn't look for how long. Let's look real fast. 20 minutes? It only cooks for 20 minutes. What? This cake is weird. All right, I'm gonna stir it for a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the oven. Bake it for 20 minutes, so I'll see you in 20. Okay, so a few things before we get to frosting. The cake is done. It's kind of crumbly because my oven gets really hot, and 20 minutes was a little bit too long. But fun trick, you just plop it out on its own sheet so that you can frost it if you don't have a cake spinner or a cake stand to frost it. But the glaze, I made way too much of it and it didn't turn out. Also, if you put it in your frosting, then you have a brown frosting. The instructions are like, oh, use half of the glaze in the frosting to make the chocolate frosting. But then it's like, how do you make it pink if it's brown from the chocolate? So I maybe used more butter than I should have, and making a new batch. Don't tell Christian. I'll just put butter on the grocery list. But it's just kind of frustrating when recipes do that and then it turns out wrong. And it's like, this is not right. I read it and it's wrong. So what you do is you let the cakes cool, and then you pull them out and you flip it upside down so that it's flat for when you frost it. You don't want the round on top. So that's that. And then they're smaller than I thought they would be, but that's okay, because again, we don't want a huge cake. And so they cooled by themselves, and then I put the base on the cake pan, put a little bit of glaze on it, put the other one on top, put more glaze on it. I'm gonna let it sit for a second so the glaze sets, and then I'll frost it. I have the pink frosting. It's not the same pink, but it's close. And then I've got the green ready to go for the letters. But make sure you check your cake, and then make sure you read the recipe beforehand, because I'm a little irritated because the glaze is not as thick as it should be. Obviously I use different ingredients, but I made up my own glaze recipe, and I used my own frosting recipe because that frosting was stupid and it was brown. So the cake is still part of the recipe, and it should still taste okay. And it's still for Potter's birthday, so it's fine. But I will see you when it's frosted. You don't need to see me frost. One, because I didn't put tips in my bag, because they make me mad. And two, because I don't have good frosting skills. But if you want to see good frosting, then comment on my video and we'll have Kevin, my friend, come frost videos, because he made his own wedding cake because he's cool. But if you want to have one of these, use one of these. It'll make it easier. The angle is nice to kind of smear him around. But I'll see you when he's frosted. So here it is. It's kind of ugly and it's fine, but since Hagrid is not the perfect froster, then it's fine. But it should still taste good. But happy birthday, Harry. See you next week.